Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Majority, and today I have with me a very special guest.
Hello everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and yeah, I'm finally on someone else's channel.
Hooray! I got a guest. So, you all know BioPhoenix, and if you don't, well, here he is. The man, the legend. He has a channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. And today, we will be reviewing a very special game. That is...
SMT, also known as Shin Megami Tensei IV on the 3DS.
That it is. And what a game. So, I actually extended my invitation to BioPhoenix to review this game because we had a bit of an interlapping of destinies. Would you care to explain?
Yeah, pretty much like last week, I actually finished the game because I really wanted to finish up so I can finally be able to play the newer one, Apocalypse. And it said that you actually beat the game recently in like around the same day, I think, or the day
Yeah,
after, or something like that.
that was a funny turn of events because I've owned the game for quite a long time now, just about since its initial conception, or I guess release. And I've had a lot of trouble going back and just playing it. But I finally just sat down and put my head to it without even knowing that you were getting into it. And as fate would have it, here we are. So, yeah, SMT IV. How about that?
Oh yeah. Well, I can tell you one thing. I loved it. So
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say we should probably preface this review by saying that we are going to try and keep it spoiler free. But if you do want to have a more authentic experience with the game, you may want to stand clear. That being said, spoiler alert, it is great.
yeah.
It definitely feels like very Shin Megami Tensei. And what I mean by that is it has a lot of the characteristics that you might come to associate with the series, but that also feel very definitive for this entry. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think I mean I think it has like all the same elements that make an SMT game where you got your silent protagonist where you can make choices, and then you got your demons, and you got like the fusions, and then of course just some like one of the other Shin Megami Tensei games. It's in a post-apocalyptic world, much like in Nocturne. And I've also heard that Strange Journey on the DS was kind of similar to that, but it was in the Arctic.
Wow, that's quite the archival of Shin Megami knowledge. So this is actually my first entry in the mainline series. I know this is a totally windy and confusing line of games, but um, this one definitely had a lot of those elements. I think one of the biggest emphases in the game is this degree to which there's always a dichotomy, or two sides. One of the main themes for the game is black and white. You can see it on the cover art. And you always see this conflict and clash between worlds, and it beckons the question of how can two worlds coexist? Uh, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like basically you just want to make a choice between like either siding with the one guy or siding with the other guy, and they both want, and the way how they think about certain things is different, and yet they're still having to work together.
Sure, and a lot of times both sides feel compelling, and some more so than others. I think it's a reflection of your own personal tastes, and I think that's part of the appeal to the game is that you have this choice to either align with the order and the structure and the tradition, or you can kind of embrace the new thinking. It is very much a game, like a new age kind of game where you're the character who's making these grave decisions, and I think that opens the doors for a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, the game definitely does have a lot of different choices that you can pick.
Absolutely, and I that's one of the biggest strong points in a way is how open it is to choices. So outside of the main narrative fork, which we're going to come back to later, there's a lot of other choices, that are really open to the player and really make this game feel like a more, I guess, a dynamic experience. Um, I'm just going to talk about some of them briefly, and we can kind of stop and discuss them a little bit. So, you have the sub quests outside of the main quest. So, there's always a main quest you can do if you wanted to just get right through the game. But there's also, all these interesting sub quests where you work for people in the kingdom or the cities. And there's a lot of, I guess, interesting side narrative in that. Did you have any experience with the sub quests, BioPhoenix?
Um, I only did a couple of them to be honest, because I'm more of the kind of guy where when I want to go into an RPG, I just want to do the story, and then like maybe sometime later on, if I want to replay the game again, I'll do side quests. But there were a couple side quests I did that were kind of interesting that I just kind of messed with a little bit.
Yeah, I liked a couple of them. I'm not going to spoil too much, but there's this cool element of like VR, like virtual reality, where they actually set up these training programs with demons, and it's like they throw all these interesting scenarios at you. So this is one of the, I guess, key identifying points for the game is that each demon has like a strength and a weakness, and you got to kind of play up to them. And the VR tests or challenge quests are set up around those weaknesses and identifying them. So to me, that was kind of an interesting strategy element they tied in. But there's also some interesting elements that were tied into like narrative quests, like fighting dragons and things of the nature. But I don't want to get too much into it. Another way this game implements choice is through demon recruitment, which I guess is a staple for the series. Would you care to explain your experience with demon recruiting and team building?
Yeah, the demon recruiting definitely does take a lot of patience, let me tell you, because I know there's a lot of times where I'm like, okay, that's a monster I don't have, and I really want to get it. So, and I don't want to like make it into the fusion because I don't want to sacrifice two good demons when I can just capture it like right there.
Mm.
So basically, I would like try to recruit it by you basically you talk to it by using the scout, and when you do that, they'll like say a lot of really like funky things like but they'll like talk to you about like a lot of stupid things, and they'll ask like questions, and some of them might not make too much sense, and a lot of the times they'll always get angry and like try to kill your ass. But when you do get them there, yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And of course, you use them to like make like a better like demon that you really want. So yeah, I'd say that like I really do like the recruitment system, even if it is like a pretty staple thing in the series that has been going on for quite some time. But you can't go wrong with it if
Yeah,
you're a fan of this kind of stuff. Yeah.
absolutely. I love the negotiations element. Like, there's, you can either be asking or answering them questions, or, you can actually be bargaining with them, like trying to buy them off in a way, and you can actually cheat them, by not actually giving the item, but making them think they're getting it. And so usually that's to your best advantage, because sometimes if you just pay up, you still won't get the demon. So you just gave away your health, your money, your mana, and the demon's like, okay, bye.
Oh God, I hate it when that happens.
Some other choice factors here. I've got equipment, skill sets, and apps. So as a character, you're able to build up your character in whatever way you please. There's a lot of different armor and weaponry to acquire, but you can also pick what kind of field you want to specialize in. And as we had discussed before, there's an interesting fusion of ideas here. Like there's the sword, which represents medieval. There's the gun, which is like the modern, or there's magic, which is like the fantastic. So deciding, how you want to build that character is really interesting. How about the app system? What did you think of that?
Oh, the app system was pretty cool. I mean, you had to be really careful with spending it wisely there because you only get 10 points like every time you level up, and of course later on in the game when like the leveling becomes a bit slower, that's when you want to like try to be careful with it there. But It is definitely a really interesting the way to do it there, because I know I usually spent a lot of my points on like trying to get like extra like demon slots, and then of course I also did like some of the like the bonus EXPs that you get from like fusing, and then you also get the like you gain a little bit of health every time you walk, or I did that with like magic as well.
Right, and I think that's is cool that you have this reflection of how you want to play the game and go into it. Um, I guess one of the issues I'm kind of seeing here is that there's a sense of precaution going into it. Like, you don't want to make the wrong decision, so you spend a lot of time idling and thinking, oh, is this right? And, oh, am I fusing the right demons or am I just going to mess everything up? Do you think that's a concern for maybe new players?
Um, I'd say yes and no, only because like whenever you do make a fusion, there will be that odd time where like if you fuse it together, it'll like completely screw up and you end up getting something you don't want, or what? Sometimes it even gives you something that you would want. Like I ended up getting like some monster that was like level 69 when I was like 64, so it's all like okay, that's good. And but yeah, that doesn't happen very often there, but it's not something you really should worry about, but it is something that can happen. And that's the thing with this game, is that there does play like a lot of like risks involved in the game, I find.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is just go in and be reckless, because you can always just summon a demon from your compendium that you've acquired before, and I think that's a real strength for the game is that, it gives you so many tools at your leisure. Even if everything else fails you, you've got items, and I barely use the items at all in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I did too. Like I only used like a few of them.
So, I mean, it's nice to know that the game has your back, in a way. Um,
Yeah, like the game is not like super easy, but it's also not like brutally hard.
yeah, you mean for a first time Megami Tensei player. I was confused at first, and then I really got into it. But I mean, I actually had to set the difficulty down the first time, but I just turned it back up when I felt comfortable. So it's definitely not terribly challenging. But if you are in it for a more difficult playthrough, upon completion you get the post game where you can turn the difficulty up to expert and you can actually carry over a lot of things from your previous playthrough, which is I thought was a nice touch.
Oh yeah, well I always like New Game Plus.
hmm it's a nice addition, and I mean, for an RPG, especially one that's choice driven, where you get so much more on your next playthrough, and I mean, maybe you just remember things that you didn't remember from your first time. It makes the experience that much more rewarding.
Yeah, and because there is a lot of different endings and different like choices to make, you can like it's good replay value.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I want to transition here to the different environments and, in some respects, the art design. Do you have any impressions on how the game plays out? I guess the kind of environments you explore.
Oh man, I love the setting in this game. I think it's great.
Mm.
Like first like at the beginning it's all like medieval and there's castles and then there's also like you have like the casual people, then you have the luxurious, which are basically like the what do you call it? The
Proletariat and bourgeoisie.
Yeah, there you go. Basically, like you have like that whole thing going on, and then of course it's like you have like a sword and a gun, and you also have like that app cell phone thing,
Yeah.
Baroques I think it's called. Basically, like you have all that, so it seems kind of weird that it's like you have like some small technology going on in a medieval world, but then you realize when you head down to the surface, you realize that it's Tokyo when the world is like pretty much set in like Mad Max sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was kind of a epiphany for me. Going down the tower and discovering the world because I really didn't expect that, even though I guess I should have because of all the technology and stuff in the beginning.
Well, see, it was like that for me too. Like when I first played, I thought it was going to be like a strictly like medieval like themed game, but then then when you head down, I was like, oh shit, there's like more.
Yeah, and it gets real dark too because it's like the music that's playing is really eerie when you see all this the city landscape and things. But I really didn't want to spoil this for anyone, but that was one of my most memorable parts for the game.
Oh yeah. Well, no, that's not a big spoiler, so I wouldn't consider it to be, that bad.
Yeah, hope not, because there it goes. Um, Now, with regards to the art in particular, there's a couple ways that the game is portrayed. So, mostly, I guess it's hard to even say mostly because, you have these hand drawn scenes when you're in some of the environments, like the city in particular, or Mikado. Not so much the other towns, but it's like you can actually, see like the different layers of the city and the buildings, and if you're like in a shop or something you see everything hanging up. It looks hand drawn, but I think it's a really nice style. I know
Oh
you're
yeah, I agree.
I know we were saying we don't know the artist, but you said that
I think the artist that does a lot of like I know for an example like with the monster designs like I think all of that was done by like one person that has been with the Atlas for many years if I recall.
yeah, that
I
makes
can't remember
sense.
the name unfortunately, but I know they're a pretty famous artist there. Like I know
Yeah,
they did the art for Mach X, which is a Dreamcast game, but
right.
that's a whole other thing there.
Yeah, it's definitely very inspired. Like there's definitely a lot of like artistic integrity that went into the game, especially with those hand drawn ones. But then you have also 3D environments. I don't mean to say like in 3D, although they are, if you choose. But like the actual 3D exploration, like where you're walking in and running in a 3D map. How did
Yeah.
you feel about that playing it on the 3DS?
Oh, I thought that was done really well too. Like it felt what do I want to say? It felt like with the fact that you're in like a three like when you're walking around in 3D, then you see like the monsters, like even though they look like pixely kind of thing, but then
Yeah.
when you like actually run into them, they're not actually like that. It's kind of like a Tales of Games sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
where like yeah, that's it's basically what it looks like. It looks like a Tales of game in that like regards, except it's obviously not. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. I thought like I really like RPGs that where you have like your gun, you walk around and you see the enemies. Now, of course, I don't mind like random encounters. Like I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but
Right.
it's always nice to have a balance between games that have it and games that don't have it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I was really impressed by the 3D environments. I felt they were very rich, especially in Naraku. Like the first dungeon in the game,
Oh yeah.
like moss on the walls, and sometimes it looks like you're actually in the stomach or something. Um, but then I guess, like you were saying, there is a variety here. Like there's also this 2D overhead exploration on the map, which is something else in and of itself. Um,
Yeah.
but I thought it was a cool kind of like perspective shift for as faulty as you might consider those kind of sequences. Just to traverse like bigger distances and travel throughout the different cities in Tokyo um, was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Um, and there are actually a few animated sequences in the game. Now I know we were saying there's not many, but I felt the ones that were there gave this game a nice touch. In fact, I was just at Barnes and Noble. I noticed there's a couple Shin Megami Tensei manga. I'm surprised this game doesn't have anything like that.
I'm not too familiar with the mangas, but I know like they're around. I just never really got around to reading them, but it is something I would like to do one day. But
Yeah.
yeah, as for like the anime series, I know the only ones that they did have was they had an OVA of the original game, like the very first one, and then they had they had one of Demi Kids, which is just weird.
Hmm.
And then of course, they have one of Devil Survivor and of course Persona and all that.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to see an animated series for this game because it is a little, it's on the dark side and um, it tackles these strong themes, of like society and the individual, things like that. Even though your character is something of a blank slate, I think there's a lot of room for an interesting discourse.
Yeah, well, I mean, what they did with Persona, like just for an example, was that they gave the main guy who, in the game, he was, as again like a blank slate, but they basically gave him more of like somewhat of a personality, but they kind of base it around like the choices you do make in
Hmm.
that game. So I don't know, they could make it something kind of like in this one, but I don't know.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because I don't know, it's not an anime yet, so
Yeah.
it's hard to tell what they would do with it if they ever were to do that. But generally speaking, the anime cutscenes in the game are very nice looking, though.
Yeah, for the few that are there. They mostly are in the beginning, but, I was impressed. I'd like to jump into the music here, which I felt was a very strong point for the game. And if you actually go on like the YouTube playlist, this is very well received. Did you find it pretty memorable?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, for of course, like all of the songs definitely suit like the tone of whatever's like going on, like no, like the environment. It's like it does have a lot of what can I say? In environmental music. Is that the right word?
I like the idea.
Yeah. Well, like I know there's actually like some parts where like the songs are kind of creepy. Like it's really like dark and like kind of suspicious sounding, and then of course you get some like really nice like you get some like 80s techno sounding songs, and then of course you also get some like heavy songs like with some like heavy guitar riffs. Mostly my favorite one would be the boss battle theme.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a sense of grittiness to it, and it, like you said, it's always reflecting the environment that you're in. So you're in the town. There's all these dilapidated buildings, and it just feels apocalyptic. But then you also have those kind of melodic, like elevator themes, and then there's also like the neo electronica, and at times it is melancholy and somber. But it always feels like it's trying to say something about the situation that you're in. And I mean, even the beginning, there's like this kind of Irish Celtic music in the Kingdom of Mikado.
Oh
So
yeah.
there's a lot going on, and I mean, it really sounds high quality, and it makes me jealous that I don't have the special disc that came with the first print.
I think I have the CD with it, but it doesn't come with all the songs, which is unfortunate, but oh well.
Well, you have a lot of the good ones too, but they're at least always on YouTube, so
Yeah, there we go.
that's a plus. um, and as always, that boss theme is it's a real treat. So if you're unsure about the game, I definitely say check out the music.
Oh yeah, I always say that in a lot of my videos. Like, if you're not a fan of the game, at least check out the music because at least the music is like fucking great. Because just like I'm sorry if I'm gonna get off topic for one thing there, but
Yeah,
I know one game that you may not believe there is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses on PS2.
I
Like
believe it.
they normally like at an outside perspective you'd be thinking like, oh, it's such a fucking like children's card game, blah blah blah. But
It's
then
the
you listen
best
to the
children's
music,
card game.
yeah. But then you listen to the music and you realize it's like, wow, this is like fucking like amazing shit. Like you would never suspect music like that being in a Yu-Gi-Oh game, basically. But
Yeah,
anyways, I just wanted to say that. But yeah, anyways, the music in this game is like fucking killer.
absolutely. And I could listen to this outside of the game, almost any day. And I think one of the things I like most about it is that it's so serious. It really feels like it's purposeful, and it's not too J-pop either. It's really trying to get the feel of
Oh yeah.
SMT.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like some J-pop, but of course, like if it doesn't have it, I'm not like frowning upon it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a place for it. It was not in this game, and I think it didn't belong there either. So I'm glad they didn't put it in.
Yeah, at least they didn't put like I don't know, like some like Madonna music in there, some shit.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I don't know, like something like completely like balls to the wall random.
Rick Astley.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you. I guess on that note, the voiceovers are something else worth bringing up here. Um, I found them really impressive and like high quality, and it always sounded to me like the voice actors were really treating their roles respectfully, and that they were almost going back and like listening back to it to make sure it sounded good and convincing.
Oh yeah. Well, I can agree with that for sure. Like I forget all the voice actors that were involved with the game, but I know there was a couple of my favorite ones that were involved in it, which I really liked. Like you have like Matthew Mercer, then you have Richard Epcar, you have Kirk Thornton. I believe Liam O'Brien plays one character in the game, and I can't remember everyone else there, but it definitely does have a really good cast though, and I think all of it has been handled pretty well.
Even the terminal prostitute.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, I
I'll
think so.
just leave it at that.
I'll have to throw this cameo in the review or something. Uh, um, I don't know, but yeah, otherwise everything sounded really fitting. I think that one instance was like a little joke uh, from the developers. So, but otherwise, I was real happy. Like even like the gang members, like the yakuza, they sounded convincing. Um, like the chancellors in the beginning. Like you're saying, Hope. I think he's a
Yeah,
famous
yeah, he
actor.
was played by Richard Epcar, and yeah, he did a really good job, like he normally does. I mean, come on, he plays Raiden from Mortal
Oh
Kombat.
man, can't go wrong. So yeah, overall, and I think especially where it counts with the main characters that you are traversing with, I think that's it's important that they have good voices.
Oh yeah.
So I was real happy there. Um, Now I did want to touch on the thematics. How themed this game is. There's like the social. Between characters, between like class levels, like you said, the luxury, the casualry. There's a sense of culture to it. It really does feel Japanese, but almost in a way that like an urban city slicker could envision. Like there's subways and things like that. But at the same time, you do have those Japanese feudal elements. Like I think there's a bathhouse where you fight like a moss monster.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's real easy to kind of associate with the game because of that. And I guess one of the more touchy aspects is the religious and mythological. So a lot of the characters, not all of them, a lot of them stem from some kind of religion or religious text. And in the compendium, you can actually read about every character's background. And so sometimes it might tell you this character is from Celtic lore and is popularized for doing X, Y, and Z. Or this one comes from the Ramayana. So I thought, that was an interesting way of tying in history. It's not the first of its kind to do that, but I like
Oh
being
yeah.
introduced to these new elements.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the I always liked like how they did like the monsters in the game, like how they usually base it after like something from like a mythical lore. Like it can either be like something from like Rome, it could be something from like Nordic gods, it could be something from like I don't know, like like something like incubus or
Hmm.
like just like or like different words meaning like the devil. Like I think there's one monster named Beelzebub, I think, and things like that. Like I don't know, I always really like that kind of stuff, seeing it in a game.
Definitely. And even from the beginning, the Eastern Kingdom of Mikado. Mikado is Japanese for emperor, so I don't know if that was intentional. Like this is the Eastern Kingdom of the emperor, and not to spoil anything, but there's some interesting context there.
Oh yeah.
I think Megami Tensei in general is like what female goddess or something,
Um.
or
Okay, I'm trying to remember what it means. It means um crap. I can't remember. I know um. Okay, yeah, never mind. Sorry, I kind of forgot.
it's alright. I have Google Translate up. Nature goddess and Shin is heart, I think, but I don't know if that ties into the translation.
No, I crap. I remember I watched a video on it like not long ago, but I just can't remember it at the moment.
Well, at least that video will still
I
be
think it's
there.
like the goddess incarnate or something.
That makes sense.
I think that's what it. I think that's what it means, or at least that's a part of it anyway. I'm
Yeah.
sure someone's gonna correct me on saying that.
Go ahead, let him. It's my channel.
Yeah.
um, but even outside of those little tie-ins through Japanese terminology, you also have representations of actual Japanese places. So, I mean, it's kind of cool to be introduced to these locales, Ikebukuro, Kasumigaseki, Shibuya, places like that, and even just to do a Google search into
Yeah, like they're
with
actual
the
like real
environment.
places.
Yeah, I know it's not the first game because I know Tokyo Beatdown is like that too. Um,
Yeah, and same thing with I think Yakuza's like that as well, if I remember correctly.
yeah, I hope that one is because that wouldn't make sense otherwise. Um, but yeah, no, it's nice to have that kind of realism, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, like they base it after a real thing. Like I know another real set piece that's pretty infamous there is the Tokyo Tower,
Hmm,
which looks like an Eiffel Tower, but it's red.
that is a cool little tie-in. I hadn't thought about that. Um, okay, so I did have some other questions here. I'll try not to linger on them. Um, Now, I guess we kind of touched on this before, but it seems like there's a lot that goes into the game and your experience with it. And to an outside player who's maybe never played an RPG, do you think that would be too overwhelming?
Okay, for this kind of game, for someone that's never played an RPG whatsoever, yeah, probably a bit too hard for them, I would say. But if you've played like a bit of them, but you never played like a Shin Megami Tensei game, I do think this would be a good one to get into because
Hmm.
it's not like stupid hard at the beginning. I mean, it does kind of seem that way at first, but then, you can always change the difficulty and make it like easier if you really want to, because playing it on normal like at the beginning is really hard, but then after a while, you get better at it.
Sure. I think, yeah, once you get a feel for the ropes of it, it makes sense. And if you have any experience with like monster training and fusing games, then this should just kind of come secondhand. I think the 3D exploration thing might take a little getting used to, particularly with like timing preemptive attacks,
Oh yeah.
because that could lead to some confusion. Like if you're not getting the first hit, it's gonna make you feel like annoyed all the time.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I just realized that is kind of a flaw, but nothing like massive there, is that sometimes when you try to hit like an enemy, like sometimes like the enemy will still get like the first hit before you do, which seems kind of weird, but it doesn't happen too often there. But I've noticed it does happen like very rarely.
Yeah, especially in the overworld, because you have no control over who goes first.
Yeah.
So just make sure to save frequently, and you should be fine.
Yeah, thankfully in this game there's no like actual save points. You can just save whenever the hell you want.
Oh yeah, that is very nice. I definitely like that aspect, and that you can actually either spend your Maka or your play coins to revive if you did die. You know, if you get
Yeah.
carried down to the river Styx. What do you think of the?
For-
Sorry,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
I was gonna make a reference to the song, to the band Styx.
Hmm.
And it'd be like the river Styx, and it'd be like, what was it? Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Like, yeah, Simpsons did that already.
Oh, that's fine. I like the intertextuality. What do you think of the battle system?
It's typical turn-based stuff, which, I like that. I mean, I like turn-based, I like, tactical, I also like, like action-based, I'm all for any of that there. But for turn-based, though, yeah, I do like this one. I think it was very simple. I mean, it tells you, like how many times you can make an attack, and of
Hmm.
course like you can make like whenever you hit the enemy's weakness you can like go again, but you can only go again like a certain amount of times. Like you can't just keep on like doing like fire 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 fire, and like
Hmm.
you can't just do that there. Like there is a limit to that. And there's a lot of different options in the battles. Like you can either do like physical attacks, you can do like magic attacks, or support attacks, and of course you can control your demons to do different attacks, and they have all their special abilities, and all that kind of good stuff. And then you get your items, you can get the like what we talked about before, like the talking thing, so you can you can recruit more. What else is there? Oh, you can run away if you want to, but that's never as fun.
Yeah, there's fundraising too if you unlock that as an app. So that's a good way to get money, which is actually an interesting point because there is no real system like of just defeating monsters and getting money to buy equipment. You actually have to kind of earn it, unless you just get a bunch of relics and do a lot of exploration that way.
Yeah, just
So
sell like all of it. Yeah.
yeah, so you kind of have to play the apps to your advantage. I did particularly like the battle system when it didn't work against me. So you can actually max out at a number of 8 turns if you play like to an enemy's weakness. But like you said, that's really hard to pull off. In general, though, it made things interesting, like trying to discover all the demons' different weaknesses. And there's so many different demons you can't possibly know offhand.
Yeah, like you kind of have to you kind of have to like learn from like actually doing the attack first. Although I think there are sometimes you can see the enemy's weakness right away, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But I know it's like sometimes you can see them, and sometimes you kind of have to just like take a risk and be like, okay, I'm gonna attack this thing with like thunder or something, and it could be like neutral damage, or it could be the weakness, or it could like reflect, or it could drain it. Like basically, you gave it health.
Yeah, and I guess the risk factor always made it a little fun. Just FYI, it's after you've defeated a demon for the first time, that's when you see its weaknesses and I guess resistances the next time.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm just getting mixed up here, but yeah.
Cool. All right, I wanted to return back to this element of choice.
All right.
There's mainly 2 paths in the game, and it depends which one you align with, what kind of ending you get. Do you want to talk about your ending without spoiling specific
Without spoiling
details?
anything?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, basically, I thought I got the ending where I was supposed to go with Walter, but I realized that I end up getting the neutral ending, and well, it was something, all right.
Yeah, I'm sorry it ended that way for you. I wouldn't have known either unless I played it out the way I did. My first playthrough, I thought I was siding with Walter, but I really couldn't tell. It seems like you're seeing the end game, but it really doesn't end where you think it does. If that makes any sense, without spoiling details. I ended up with Jonathan, which is the more structure-based ending, but I didn't want to. The whole game I was leaning towards Walter, and 1, 2, or 3 choices that perhaps sided me with Jonathan ended up forcing me to take his path. And I was so pissed about that because it just made my whole rest of my playthrough feel artificial. So it kind of begged the question for me as to, do I even like this, as like a choice-based system? And at first I hated it, just for that reason. Like, the game is forcing me to be a character I don't want to be, and I have to play that now. Or I could have just restarted, but that defeats the purpose. It's what the game wanted me to see. I ended up playing it to completion, and I was happy I did, because I wanted to see that ending anyway. And while I did have some initial disappointment, I felt that the ending and the way everything was tied together was powerful. That being said, there were some very, I don't want to, thought-provoking is being too gentle. There were some very controversial tie-ins in that playthrough, and I wonder if it's the same for Walter. They're interesting. I don't know if I agreed with them, and that's what really made me hesitate with my playthrough. But I liked the sense of replay value that you had talked about before. That there's always going to be more to experience in the game, and that's a very rich experience.
Yeah, like that's the thing I like about games that have multiple endings is that it kind of gives you a reason to like play the game again, so you can actually see like the other ending. Like that's the reason why I like games like like Shadow Hearts or Tecmo's Deception, because there's a bunch of different endings that you can get, and you can do them by doing different various amount of things.
Right, and I think that's a big selling point, is this sense of malleability, that you can kind of play the game to your liking.
Yeah.
Cool. So, if you were going to sell someone this game on one point, what would it be?
Oh god damn it. I'm not really good at this because I'm not really like a salesman, but
Oh, that's okay. I mean, what was something you were really happy with the game at the end of the day that you would recommend the game to someone for?
Well, I just like, I just really like doing the battles, and I also was really addicted of trying to like get like as much like demons as possible and try to fill up that that compendium or whatever. I don't know, like I really like doing that kind of stuff. Like I know like the whole monster collecting thing isn't for everyone, but it's something that I always do like in a game.
I agree. The monster building and discovery was very cool for me. I really like the sense of challenge, even if it did get easier as you got to master the system. Um, in general, I just have so many positives for the game that I really do think it's like a magnum opus for the system. I mean, unless you're like heavily against RPGs, this is a game everyone should try.
Oh yeah, like I'd actually have to say that SMT IV probably is one of my many favorite RPGs on the 3DS next to, like Soul Hackers, and then there's well, this is a tactical based RPG, but it's Stellar Glow. Really
Right.
like that one a lot too.
Yeah, there's just so much good going for it, and in general, just having a strong narrative, even if you are a blank slate character, it just makes the game so much more fulfilling and so rich.
Yeah, and I know some people they prefer the silent protagonist because they kind of think of it as like as them as themselves or something. Like if
Hmm.
it were like you going into his shoes or something. I don't know. I know some people look at it that way, and that's kind of interesting.
I guess the cool thing though is that you do see your character, in these sequences with the animations and in the 3D environments. So I mean, even if it is somewhat blank slate, you do get a feel for your character. And I love that it is still like a traditional RPG in like the modern era. It felt like the genre was starting to taper off like sometime in the past couple of years or so. But this game is really a strong return to form for me anyway.
Oh yeah, well, I like a lot of RPGs. Like hell, I even like the RPGs that most people don't even like. But no, like as for like as it comes to like RPGs, like getting back on track, because I will agree, like to a point that even like when like the PS3 and the the 360 and the Wii, there wasn't a whole lot that was going on for some weird reason. I don't know why, but like there just wasn't as many as I thought there would have been, considering that we got from like PS2 and that they had like a shitload.
Mm.
So, you got like from going from PS3 and, 360 and Wii, there wasn't as many. And sure, there was a couple of them, and yeah, some of them were good, some of them not so much, but, it was okay, I guess. But then, of course, nowadays, where you got like the 3DS and the Vita, and then now you got like the PS4, like those systems definitely do have some really good RPGs that I do like. The Wii U doesn't have a lot at the moment, but you never know. And
Mm.
the Xbox One, well, God's not. I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. um, Great. I really do think it's an ambitious title, and a lot of games set out with these kind of innovations in mind, and especially on the 3DS now, you have all these ones with like gimmicks like a focus on Street Pass or like local co-op, and that's like a selling point for the game. But this one is very much tailored to like a single player experience and someone who owns and loves their 3DS.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, BioPhoenix, it has been a pleasure. Do you have any parting words for the audience?
Well, I just gotta say that, well, hopefully, if you guys have played the game, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and you can tell your experience with the game and all that kind of good stuff. And I enjoyed it myself. I think it's definitely a great like title to have on the 3DS. And yeah, I'll just say that thanks for watching and commenting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed, all the way to the end of this very long discussion, but it was, I think, a good one. So, here's hoping we both see each other alive again.
Yep.
Do you know where that's from?
Um. Oh, yeah, from the barkeeper.
Yeah, the bartender.
It's like, oh, hope we better see each other alive again.
Oh, sorry to put you on the spot like that.
Oh no, it's all good. I had to think for a moment there. I was like, oh, shit, yeah.
So many good ones. Don't forget to bring more baka next time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could do this all day. Anyways, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, BioPhoenix.
Yep. Awesome.
All right, peace out.